I open a lot of weird stuff on this channel, and not just for me, for my own pleasure. Of course, I do enjoy opening weird toys and discovering weird toys, but also for you, for the viewers, for the fans, for the followers, because, you know, everybody knows G.I. Joe and Transformers and Star Wars and He-Man and things like that. But, you know, here we have a Casper figure that comes with a dead fish missile launcher, a mummy, a dolphin with a cell phone, some weird Xena figure, a weird wrestling figure from outer space, King Griffey Jr. with some dead fish fossilized helmet thing. Today we're going to open something else that is very weird, just a weird concept in general, but it actually isn't too obscure in terms of pop culture, I guess you would say. This is something I've been saving, and I'm really excited to open. This is Spy Kids, Juni Cortez, and Thumb Thumb. Now, obviously, you can probably guess why I'm opening this, and it's not Juni Cortez. I'm sorry, whomever played Juni Cortez in Spy Kids, but it's because of Thumb Thumb. Now, obviously, you know, G.I. Joe's my big thing. I've never been much of an army builder. Some of the, you know, the soldiers, the officers, the Crimson Guards, things like that, you know, you'll get a couple because you need them. The only thing that I actively army build today, it's April 1st, 2019. No, that's no joke. I'm 36 years old. I army build Thumb Thumb from Spy Kids. As you can see, I currently have 7, including the one in the package, in my possession. I used to have another, but I gave it to a friend because he wanted one. I found a few of these on eBay. I found a few in the wild. I actually found 2 in the wild at the same place, at the same flea market down somewhere in Kentucky one day. I was very excited about that. Kind of hard to find. You don't see them too often. If you go on eBay and if you Google, or if you, excuse me, search on eBay, Thumb Thumb, you know, you might see 3 or 4. Sometimes I've seen 0, seen 1, seen 2. Every now and then I will kind of, you know, take the search for them. But they're cool. And they're weird. And again, not too obscure. I mean, Spy Kids was very popular. I mean, they made, what, 4 or 5 of them? 1, 2, Spy Kids 3D, the Lava Girl, whatever that was called. I guess that might have been the 4th one. I'm not sure. Now, I was too old for this. This came out in 2002. I was 19. So, you know, I was in college. Not really my jam. My little brother liked it. That's kind of how I discovered Spy Kids, because he just kind of, you know, he'd watch it, and he actually had this, and I remember seeing this for the first time, and I thought, what is that? That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's a thumb person who his arms and legs and his head are all thumbs, and it's articulated at the knee/knuckles, I guess, you know, at the waist, at the neck/thumb, and so I had this. You know, my brother kind of just, I guess, got a little bit older, grew out of toys. I got older and grew into toys, but I was like, I have to have that. So I acquired this from my brother. Don't know what happened to it. You know, moved a few times to different states, and, you know, things just get lost or whatever. So I was glad to finally get another one in my collection, and then, you know, find some more and find some more and find some more, and then eventually leading me to this one on the card, which is actually pretty hard to find. It took me a while to find this, and you don't see this pop up too often. I am going to open it because this YouTube channel is Vintage Toy Freedom, and that is what I do. I free things from their plastic prisons. So officially, this is Spy Kids OSS figures level 1, Juni Cortez and Thumb Thumb from 2002. Now, this is made by Play Along Toys. Not familiar with that company or anything else they do. You can see some of these others. I've actually acquired and sold some of these. That skeleton, if you see it on its own, you'd have no idea what it is. But it's obviously Spy Kids. They made a lot of McDonald's toys, things like that. Actually, have a pretty large bag. Some of these guys came in this huge Spy Kids toy, McDonald's toy, comic book, which I think came with the McDonald's toys lot. And I absolutely bought it for one reason. And that here's Mr. Thumb Thumb. And I mean, you know, if you study really kind of any form of literature, film, television, comics, anything like that, it's not often you see a unique character. You know, they say that everything's been done before. You know, the Incredible Hulk is just Jekyll and Hyde, you know, things like that. So to find something that is just really, truly unique like this is quite a treat, and it's quite unique. So here's Juni. You can see there are these rubber bands on him that just have not stood the test of time. And honestly, you know, I mean, we know who the star of the show is, but this is a pretty well-made figure. It also, like Thumb Thumb, it doesn't have elbow articulation, but it has the other, you know, it has some knee, some leg. This one doesn't have waist, but it does have head. And that's a pretty good likeness, and the paint scheme is pretty, pretty top-notch. I mean, that's a pretty good paint on that figure. We have some accessories here, which I don't think any of this explains what they are. So I'm just going to pretend like I know. We got some twist ties here. So here it says you can log on to the website for cool activities, games, and downloads. Become an official spy kid. Tips on how to be a spy, movie trailers, videos, and photos. Letters from the star of the set of Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams. So here's some kind of like radar, like homing device kind of thing. I don't know if he can actually fit that in his hand. You know, if you've watched other episodes of Vintage Toy Freedom, one of my biggest complaints when it comes to toys, there's two. Number one is if they can't stand on their own. That drives me insane. And you see it at all levels of toys. I mean, big manufacturers, small, mainstream, obscure. You'll find toys that can't stand on their own. The second is being able to hold their accessories. Why would you have them if they can't hold them? It doesn't make any sense. So, if you watched my episode on Hunchback of Notre Dame, however you want to pronounce it, that one, this guy has a bunch of stuff and he can't hold it. It doesn't fit on him well. It's just really, and that line was from Mattel. You know, Mattel, I mean, they made Barbie and He-Man and all kinds of huge properties. So, and that's a Disney property too. So it's not like it's something, like Zyber 9 or some of these weird, bizarre ones. So here's some sort of like talisman. I don't know, maybe it's like a key, or looks like you hold it up to like some kind of temple and it opens a door. Next we have some kind of robotic bug. Not exactly sure what this is supposed to be or do, or if it's good or bad, but there it is. So him right there. And then we have a set of air tanks. I assume that's for Juni and not Thumb Thumb, considering Thumb Thumb doesn't have a mouth. But some decent attention to detail here. I mean, some rubber bands to go on his arms, which they'll probably break, but let's see. Okay, these rubber bands have stood the test of time. All right, so there's this like mouth peg, but you can obviously see there's no hole in his mouth to put that peg. So I don't know if that something happened in the design phase that failed. So this is the star of the show. We're saving the best for last. Obviously, these rubber bands have completely deteriorated. They almost look like uncooked noodles of some sort. But there, it is Thumb Thumb in all of its glory, joining its friends. And now in my collection, I am proud to say I have a complete Juni Cortez and Thumb Thumb from Spy Kids 2002, made by Play Along Toys. Let's see if there's some of that plastic crack that we all love. Yeah, there was a little bit there. You heard it. You heard it. There we go. Smells a little weird. Smells like a thumb, maybe, if you will. I always like when there are figures that have peg holes in the bottom, and there was never any kind of like vehicle or playset. I don't know why they did that, but here we go, an army, a legion of Thumb Thumbs, and then there's Juni Cortez to lead them, even though he didn't lead them. They were bad, and he was good. But that's, we're taking a little bit of artistic license here. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I know I did. Spy Kids is actually pretty cool. My kids, like I mentioned, my little brother was into it, but then later my children were into it. So I've seen Spy Kids 2, Spy Kids 3D. I don't think I've seen the Shark. Is it Shark Boy and Lava Girl? I don't know. Whatever it's called. Antonio Banderas is in it. So they're in terms of a children's movie, it's pretty well made. I don't want to call it maybe, I hate to say it's like the Goonies of that generation, but it's it's pretty big and heavily promoted. This toy line, I feel like maybe just because it's such a weird company. I mean, if they would have gone with a Mattel or a Hasbro, or even I don't know, like a obviously those are two big ones, but even kind of like there's some of the smaller companies that may have had a lot of that kind of movie properties and TV properties and things like that weren't as big, but it probably just didn't get the promotion it did, because these are cool toys. I mean, the skeleton, that Slizzard, the Spider Ape. I mean, the people, they're fine, but it's sort of the bad guys, the subsidiary characters that are really the stars of the show here. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. I'm glad to have another Thumb Thumb in my collection, and I will always seek out more Thumb Thumbs. But I'm also a generous person. I'm a generous collector, and if somebody out there needs a Thumb Thumb, I am glad to help you get one into your collection, because everybody needs a Thumb Thumb in their collection. So, as always, make sure you open your toys, have fun, play with them, never grow up, and I hope that you give this episode, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 thumbs up. That's what I would say. I think 1, 2, yeah, each have 5. 7 times 5. I wasn't a math major, but I can do that. So hopefully you give this one a thumbs up.